Well, it was a very harrowing, difficult day of evidence here at the Old Bailey. There was no trial, of course, because Wayne Couzens, that former Metropolitan Police officer, pleaded guilty. So what we had instead was the prosecution outlining what the key facts of their case would be. And that really, for the first time, gave us an insight into the final moments of Sarah Everard's life. It was the ultimate betrayal, a man she should have been able to trust, who abused his position as a serving Metropolitan Police officer to trick her into getting into the hired car that he had, pretended that she had broken COVID laws, placed her under arrest, put her in the back seat of that car. We were played quite a bit of CCTV evidence that took us through the course of the final few hours of Sarah Everard's life. We saw her earlier in the day as she'd been buying a bottle of wine to go to a friend, Wayne Couzens. Now, Wayne Couzens was off duty. He was not in uniform, but he was wearing a Metropolitan Police issue belt, the kind of belt that carries various. There are two members of the public who passed by at this time, and they saw Sarah Everard being handcuffed and placed into the back of Wayne Couzens' car, but they didn't feel that they could intervene in any way. They didn't really think, although someone was being arrested on the street, that it was anything particularly out of the ordinary, that to them it was obviously a plainclothes officer carrying out his duty and arresting someone. It was instead, of course, the start of a horrific ordeal for Sarah Everard that lasted some 80 miles as she was driven from that area near Clapham Common out down the Kent coast to a secluded area near the port of Dover, and it was there that the prosecution said Sarah Everard was raped and then strangled by the very police belt that Wayne Couzens had been wearing. He then drove her body to a local petrol station to buy a can and fill it up with the fuel he would use to burn Sarah Everard's body. He burned her body in an abandoned refrigerator that was in this woodland, and some absolutely startling and again just horrifically callous facts coming out that really go to the mindset of this individual. As Sarah's body was burning inside that refrigerator, he went to a DIY store to buy builder's bags to dispose of the remains. But while he was doing that, he called the local vet because of concerns he had about his dog having separation anxiety. And apart from his concern over his dog, you would think nothing was wrong. This was a cheery individual on the phone who had just murdered and was in the process of disposing of this young woman's body. And again, we heard more startling evidence yesterday that the wife and two young children of Wayne Couzens were taken by him on a day trip to this wooded area just near the spot where he had disposed of Sarah Everard's remains. I mean, you couldn't make it up. It is utterly horrific, and it is the kind of aggravating factors that the judge will have to take into consideration when he is passing sentence this morning. He will also have in mind those impact statements, those victim impact statements from Sarah Everard's family that were really, really powerful, and no one could be unmoved by what they heard in the court yesterday.